What's up, YouTube? Smooth Criminal here. Um, I have a buddy that's been asking. He's wanting to get deeper into customizing. He's done some wheel swaps and things like that, but he's wanting to do some of the crazy chopping and cutting and turning something from several pieces into something like that. Which this is for him actually, but he wants to start doing his own build, which is pretty awesome. I'm going again. I am angelic. Sorry, guys, but I am. Woo, not playing. No disrespect. But anyways, he has questions about tools I use and things like that. And everybody has their own way of doing things, but he's pretty cool with the way I do things. I like the way I do things. Things come out pretty cool to me and other people too, so that's cool. So what I'm gonna do, he said, well, why don't you make a video, and show people. I'm like, that's cool, lots of people understand, there's lots of wheel swaps and painting, and because wheel swaps is the beginning. I mean, that's the beginning of taking these things apart and changing wheels. I mean, that's the true beginning of really getting into full-blown customizing. So I like going further and chopping stuff up. That was my initial way to get into this, but I had to figure it out. There wasn't a whole lot of videos of people doing that. Lots of videos of the finished work, but not how they do it, and and all the tools involved. There might be videos of people showing the build process, but not focusing on the tools. So I'm going to try to focus on the tools I use for these. There's like a show called Chop Cut Rebuild. That's what I'm doing. Hot Wheels version of Chop Cut Rebuild. But and these are the ones I found. There's tons of tools out there and ways to do this. This is just what I found works for me. So this is how I'm gonna do this. Is kind of show you the tools I'm going to use for a certain doing certain customs. Like right now, this is something I'm building for Bill that he wants this Ford turned into an extended cab. So you need two of these in order to do that, because you're going to basically chop the front off of one and chop the back off of one and put them together, and then you have an extended cab. So the process of doing that requires a rotary tool. Lots of people say Dremel. For a long time I thought Dremel was the kind of tool that it is, but Dremel is actually a brand. Like all people call soda Coke. Coke is a brand of soda, but so that's how I was when I typed in Dremel, a long time ago, when I was shopping around for some. Dremel came up and they were like real expensive, but I started out with a rotary tool from Harbor Freight that was $10, and it came with some accessories. So that's where you get started. I mean, obviously, once you get to this point, you've already been through the taking them apart, so you need a drill with the right drill bits, to take it apart. Now, you have to, I hurt myself pretty bad. I'm not very patient. Sometimes I get overly excited, I guess, and I'm like ready to take something apart and see what it looks like with different wheels or different things on it. But my drill went through. It was a car from the Dollar Tree, one of those little cheap cars that has like the wheels on it, and I wanted to see what they look like on something else, and I was all excited taking it apart. And I see people doing it now, and I cringe. But when you're taking it apart and you're drilling it like this, is exactly what I was doing. Well, the drill slipped off of the the post went into my finger, and it had this size drill bit on there. It went through there into my finger right here and all the way to the tip. Actually, I think it may have come to about right. So from here to about here, because the drill bit was sticking out longer than this one is right now. And when I it hit the bone and slid down the bone, and when I pulled out, there was meat on the end of the drill bit. Needless to say, it hurt. I didn't go to the hospital, but my ex-girlfriend, she was like, "You need to go to the emergency room." I said, "I'm not dying. I'm bleeding." I did feel the shock. I mean, I got lightheaded and dizzy, and she wasn't there when it happened. I had texted her and see if she had a Band-Aid. She lived right around the corner at that time, and she didn't have a Band-Aid, but she brought something over. I can't remember, but anyways, it hurt, and it scared me because I mean I still have tingling, numbness in the end of my finger. It did some nerve damage in there, but I'm the type of person, I'm very stubborn when it comes to hospitals. I'm like, I'm not going to die from this. I'm not going to go to the emergency room. And ironically, a couple months later, I was taking her to the emergency room. She was real sick. And there was a guy in there who had a tiny little puncture wound in his hand that the drill bit had kind of went through the fatty part of his finger a little bit. But, you know, who knows, maybe he had some family there that all looked questionable. Maybe they were wanting some pain pills. I don't know. But we were kind of laughing about it, that here I went deep into the bone, and he's got a little bitty flesh wound. And he's sitting there in the emergency room, growing a young man. Anyways, that made me nervous for a long time, and it took me a little while to start back drilling. So what I did was, this was what I started for taking things apart. Let me turn this camera around. So when I started, I wanted to, I'm tangled up, getting things to start taking them apart. I purchased this. It is a Dremel brand, and it's a press. You see, it just goes, you put a Dremel in there, and this is just a regular speed. I'll talk about that in a minute. But then you can just go down with it and take it apart. I've shown this in a video before, but anyways, that is a wise investment, especially if you're not as careful for me. And all this stuff literally came from Amazon that I'm going to show you. So go on Amazon and search Dremel and Dremel accessories. But I have a Dremel for this, and I've collected all this stuff over the years. So I mean, this isn't something I was able to do right away. But this is a Dremel dedicated to that, so I don't have to keep taking it in and out of the press there, and that has saved my fingers a lot, because you just put the little drill bit in there, and when you're taking a car apart, set it on something, you know, and go down and go to work. And I use beeswax on the drill bit that kind of lubricates it, and makes it go in and out easier, keeps the drill bit cool. But that's in another video on how I do wheel swaps, and I explain that a little bit more in detail. Okay, so when you're getting into the chopping, like I started out with the $10 rotary tool from Harbor Freight, and it worked great. I mean, it's not one that's going to last you a long time, but I would suggest when you're getting into this, start small. I mean, unless you just have the money to blow. I mean, then go get you an $80, $90 Dremel and go to town. But I eventually was able to afford a Dremel. I forget what I paid for this. They all come with accessories usually. But something to invest in is this on the end. Allows you to, because all the accessories might have a different size shaft. Let me show you some of the accessories. See if I can find some of different sizes. Okay, they're close, but they're different. Well, they have different pieces in the Dremel, the end of it, to adjust for the different sizes of shafts. So like this one fits perfect in that one, and it won't be loose when you tighten down the end of the Dremel. Then this one, it would be loose, so you'd have to find one of these that's smaller that fits this, which can take time and keep it up with a lot of pieces. So I bought this accessory that is an adjustable chuck, or whatever you want to call it, and it adjusts to the piece you put in there. So I mean, this allows you to quickly change your accessories out without having to change out that inner shaft piece. I don't have all the pieces to this, or I'd show you exactly how that works. So this accessory here comes in very handy. I'll try to leave links to these things if I can, because I think I bought all this from Amazon, but you can find all this on eBay as well. So I would definitely get one of those. It saves time and frustration, like if you're going back and forth between different bits in your Dremel. And I'm going to try to do, won't be an exact how-to video, but a video of the build process of these, so I can kind of show you me using these. So like on this one, let's say you're wanting to do one of these, make an extended cab, and you're going to cut through the metal. You're going to want cutting discs, and they have different kinds. For the longest, I mean, because these are the cheapest, are these little sandpaper cutting wheels, and they're basically like if you've ever used a grinder or something. They're cutting discs, and they all come with little shafts. This one has one that's been worn all the way down, but you just take the screw out and replace this with it. You know, put the screw back in. And these, because they're cheap and they come with just about every accessory thing you can get. I went through a lot of these. These will get you started, especially practicing cutting stuff. I practice a lot on just cutting things, because it can take a little bit to get used to it. And to be honest, the first rotary tool I bought was one I found reduced somewhere, and it was reduced when I didn't know, because it was bent. So, and I didn't realize what was going on at first, because I had never really used a bigger rotary tool. And when I finally figured it out, I was like, no wonder I keep breaking these things and cuts getting crooked. And so anyway, I did keep that because it works for polishing. That's a whole nother video. But these things are good to practice with. It kind of gives you an idea how it works. And you can get these things cheap, especially from China on eBay. You can get a whole bunch of them. But then I discovered these. They're diamond cutting discs, and they cut like butter, and these are my favorite tools now. But also, when I have it on, you know, when you put it in the shaft, and most of them have the same type of process. To change it out, there's a button to hold, and you'll feel it where you can't spin. Like, you can spin it freely until you hit that button, and it will catch. And once it catches, then that's when you tighten it up, the tool in the shaft. So it's like that. And that's how that works. And the same way, push the button in, turn it the other way to take it out, to change it out. So when I have that in, and I'm about to cut something, I'll turn it on and just cut a bar of beeswax. And that lubricates the cutting disc and keeps it a little bit cooler and cuts a little bit easier. I learned that trick a long time ago with working in South Dakota doing custom interiors and horse trailers. I'd have to cut out a huge, it was probably like a foot by foot square of aluminum trailer. So I mean, I'd be there for a long time cutting this out. Everybody else was scared to do it, so I loved doing it because I could put my earplugs in, my safety glasses, and then ignore everybody, just cut. I loved it. I did. Got covered in aluminum shavings. I called myself glittericious, like I was a stripper. But anyways, they used a big block of beeswax because it helped keep the aluminum and the disc cool, so it would cut smoother and everything. And I applied that on a smaller scale, and it has the same concept. Works great for that. But that's how, when you get into the initial chopping of something, you'll want those cutting discs. Definitely, that reminded me about the safety glasses. I don't wear safety glasses anymore because you can still get stuff in your eye cutting these things. So I got one of these at Harbor Freight, pretty cheap. I just ordered a new. The shield was all messed up because things will fly and hit you when you're doing this. So definitely get a face shield. I would buy this first, literally, because if you have the tools, you're going to be tempted to start cutting. My cat is stealing Hot Wheels out of a box. Can you see that? Nope. Where is she? Look at her. That's her, right there. And a box of Hot Wheels. Stealing them. I'm telling you, I'm going to trade this cat. I'm going to trade it. Snickers. Hey. Get down from there. I guess I'll let her play. But no, seriously, invest in this first, because you're going to be tempted to cut. You're going to get something in your eye, and it's not going to be fun. So buy this first. Buy this first for real. Okay, so let's say you've got something cut all the way down, and you've got it put together. I've done a video on that as well, on how to merge two pieces that are cut. And you have the JB weld all around it, and you're wanting to smooth it out. That's when these come in handy. These sanding barrels. Same concept. They work, they go onto the end of the thing, and all of them will come with this little wrench. And it has a screwdriver on the end, a flathead too. The way these work is, I better put that in here, it's a little easier. Is you'll hold the button down. To change these out, you'll tighten and untighten this little screw, because it pushes down on a piece of rubber. And this isn't always easy on these things. See, and then you take this, you put it on there, and you work it down, and then you tighten it back up, because that squeezes the rubber down to tighten the hold on the sanding disc. So once you got it on there, and you have this, and these are powerful. It will take a lot of this stuff off. So go easy, and get a variable speed when you're able to, because that helps keep the speed of the bit slow or fast, whatever you're needing it to do. And it just takes time, and it takes practice. That's the only thing I can suggest is practice. I have tore up a lot of Hot Wheels learning how to do this. So then you just kind of sand it down, smooth it down to how you want it. And then you can get the initial bulk of it off, and then switch over to sandpaper to really smooth it out. Well, these little sanding discs, you can get those pretty cheap too on eBay or Amazon. They always come with a new shaft. I have plenty of the shafts for it. But that's basically it. I mean, I know there's a lot. Those are the basic ones I use. Other than these are little sanding discs. I do this for the fine polishing when I'm wanting to shine one up um, to what am I thinking of? The cat is is distracting me. I don't even remember what's in that box. I think it's just a parts box. But when I'm wanting to polish one up to make it shiny, where it's no paint, where it's just bare metal shine. So this is the initial ones I use to kind of smooth it out, and then I switch over to polishing ones with some polish to make it shiny. So I mean, those are, but for the initial cutting and everything, that's basically it. Is those cutting discs and those sanding. I don't know if they're called sanding barrels or what they're called, but that's what I call them. But if you go on, excuse me, onto Amazon or eBay, and just type in rotary tool accessories, there will be all kinds of things to come up. And you'll be able to, because everybody works differently, you'll be able to find something that works for yourself that will be easier, or work for what you're doing. Like they also have these little grinding shafts that are all different kinds, to grind out metal. This one is very aggressive. And then you have some that are, some of these are like for etching glass and stuff. And you have one that's got like a ball on the end of it. So, I mean, what I would suggest is what worked for me. I mean, it's easy to watch a video and see how a person does something. But the best way to do it is to, they sell these accessory packs that come with a certain amount of accessories of different kinds. And that's what I initially started with. Even that $10 one from Harbor Freight, that's a good way to get started and to practice, because it comes with several different types of the accessories for the rotary tool. And I played with every single one of them to see what it did. And that's the best advice I can give someone that's wanting to get deeper into customizing and to fully cut something up and completely change what it is, more than a wheel swap or a paint job or something like that. But that's the best advice I can give. Those are the basics right there of what I use for cutting these up. But yeah, get one of these, a rotary tool with a little accessory package, and play with it. Experiment. I mean, we all have Hot Wheels we're not going to do anything with. Those are the best ones to experiment on and see exactly what it does. There's accessories I haven't even used. I don't know how they work. I got comfortable with a few, and that's what I work with. But I hope this helps. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment. Hit the like button, hit the dislike button, hit the bell. I'll play. But yeah, definitely. I try to respond to all my comments that I receive. So if you do have a question about any of this, ask. And I hope this helped some people. I mean, I think it's a bit of information. This is going to be a long video. I can see that right now. But that's kind of how you get started. But yeah, I would definitely buy one of the cheap ones and play with it. That's really the way you're going to learn how to do this, is just jump in it. So I can jump in feet first and paddle, stay afloat. But yeah, I would just get some accessories and play. I mean, that's part of the fun of it too. Okay, I better go before I eat up all this time. Smooth Criminal signing out. Be good or be good at it.